Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I am going to do a feminine and masculine read for today, as well as my sand art first, and then the oracle cards at the end. Okay, the energies today are a little bit heavy with the full moon, so we'll get into that when we do the reads. And first I want to get into the sand art. And I'm going to show you the two reads first so that you have a picture of them. This is the feminine read from this morning. And then this is the masculine read from this afternoon. Okay. So I'm going to tell you about the sand art first, and then we'll get into the reads. I was surprised how much came out again in the sand art today. Pardon my appearance, I was just out jogging, so I needed to de-stress a little bit. Definitely feeling some build-up in the chest, and it's been okay, but just a little bit of stress in the air. So just stressing the importance of a lot of grounding today and water. From the sand art today, I saw two girls hanging out in their room with a dog sitting beside one of them bored. Also could be two in lawn chairs at the mountains or at an overlook, like off the highway, an overlook point off the road by water, but mostly mountains. I also saw like an old-fashioned record player. I saw a honeymoon bed with an infinity pool in the mountains. I saw one girl looking out the window or off of a balcony railing to some waterfalls. Could also be ski slopes, but not much snow, so I wasn't seeing like tons of snow or anything like that. I saw a very angry devil type character putting his fist through a mountain or a wall, so somebody might have put their fist through a wall, coming apart at the seams, and or soaking their right hand in a heart-shaped bath or hot tub. I also saw angels there. Also saw or someone's hand stuck in something or got caught with their hands where they don't belong, in the cookie jar possibly as well, inciting drama, as then everyone starts taking from the pool. So like once somebody puts their hands into something, then everybody was putting their hands in it. All right, so, or I saw a man who wanted privacy to soak their hand, maybe at a hotel or something. They were out by the hot tub or something. But then now I was seeing people coming out, like a woman sitting on the side of the pool or the hot tub, and then another man dipping his foot into the water. So it was irritating this other person with their hand, okay? Then I saw kids watching monster or ghost movies, and an annoyed bird, so possibly a feminine, giving the eagle eye, pissed at the man for not controlling the situation, or kids locked in their room so the parents can have grown-up time, also at the beach with seagulls and kids not getting along, or at the golf course with an eagle eye, so somebody might have a good eye in golf, and then also possibly sailing with an eagle on board, so it might be symbolic on the boat. Also the eagles playing, or a military mission across the seas. I also saw parting of the seas or parting of the waves. Also ghost ship, so there might be something for Halloween as well. And also I saw a whale spouting in the ocean, and also a dog with a muzzle after possibly biting someone. But there was definitely a dog with a muzzle on his nose. Okay, so that was the sand art. I'm going to get into the feminine. There was a bit of the feminine read wasn't bad actually until I got towards the end, and then it got heavy. There's some different situations that were heavy, but they don't apply to everyone. So again, if it doesn't apply to you, don't try to force it to your situation. It's not meant for you then, okay? There's a lot of different scenarios, and there are a lot of different levels of where people are at in their journey. So let's see, today is the 24th of October 2018. 24 is the Queen of Wands, the fiery one, okay? So wands are known for their physical activity and their creative abilities and their sexual prowess. But that is the energy of today. It also can represent some of the karmics, which I get a lot for the karmic situations, dark mother energy, that type of thing. And remember, in the way the tarots work, wands is the first suit. Okay, so you build on that as you get to the pentacles. So it's the beginning of the journey as far as energies in the tarot. It depends on how someone reads. Okay, so then the day adds up to, and the 24, by the way, is a 6. It's a motherly energy of love, family, and community. The 4 of responsible, structured building on the inside. And then the 2 of the feminine energy on the outside. Being able to see both sides of the situation clearly, all that kind of thing. Getting along with others. Then we have the day adding up to the 45-9, which is the 5 of Cups, which can be feeling sadness or loss. It can just be feeling sorry for yourself because you don't see the good in what you still have because you did lose something. But you still have something really good in your life. So it's just getting past that loss or regret, sadness. It's also an ending. It's a 9, so it's compassion, endings, universal selflessness. It's the 5 of the change and freedom and expansion energy on the inside, but being very responsible on the outside. So that's kind of a conflict in itself. Someone who seems very responsible and structured on the outside is actually very free and expansive on the inside. So they're not as they appear to be. Getting right into the feminine read then for these energies of the day. So we have the 6 energy and the 9, and they're both similar energies because they're both of that service orientation. As one is service to community on a community level, and the other is service on a universal level. Okay, but it's all about love. So the Divine Feminine read was done at 9:26 this morning, 9:27. And the major arcana that came up for the Divine Feminine were Emperor and Judgment. There were 2 wands, 2 swords, 4 pentacles, which is unusual for the Divine Feminine, and then 1 cup. The court cards were the Knight of Wands, the King of Cups, and the King of Wands. So 2 kings and 1 knight. So a lot of masculine energy here. The numbers, not a lot of numbers came up today at all for either. Maybe 3, 8, and 11 for the Divine Feminine, and 38, as well as 2241. The coding had to do with crystals. A lot about crystals came up, but just that, you know, the crystalline energy, how our DNA is changing, the crystalline grid, the fourth ray also came up. I meant to look into that more, but I was also getting that a lower timeline has completed for some, completely for the Divine Feminine. I was getting 8W as well, and when I looked up 8W, it's a code for fly always from the where is that from? The IATA. It's code for fly always, which is perfect because what do we do when we breathe in and we breathe out in all directions? Okay, so that 8W is code for fly always. So I like that a lot. It's also a longitude. It's also Spartan 8W Zeus. There's something. It's a military aircraft. Something could be happening in 8 weeks, 8 days. But having to do with staying at 0 point, and definitely about a lot about the devil and the angel, you know, are coming up. Because we're in Scorpio now, right? So your devilish side is going to be coming out, but it's definitely about the fight between the angel and the devil within yourself. And what you're going to feed into. Whether this is coming together at work or in your personal life. But definitely I was getting the fourth ray of energy. And also cry stalls, so some people might be whining trying to get out of stuff. Some of the stuff that came up a lot about crystals, the 8 essential crystals came up from goop.com. Leaving stones out in the moonlight 3 days prior to the full moon and three days after the full moon for 24 hours at least. Feng Shui stuff came up, and rose quartz from the spruce.com. Science for kids and crystals, so different experiments and things that your kids could do with crystals, a natural way to do some of their homework or projects. Also 2 arrested for 28, which is the 2 of Wands, ½ ounce of crystal meth. That's something that just came up randomly. And 28 was not part of the code, so it's kind of cool that that came up. Murray crystals came up, which is from a game. Pretty Cure, wikia.com. Also A to Z crystals, their meanings. Also an introduction to crystals, so chem1.com. The 3D world of crystals, the basic 7 lattice types. And also the term rockhounds comes up there. Rockhounds. Alternative shapes that can develop from a single basic crystal type are known as habits. So I thought you'd like that. Alternative shapes that can develop from a single basic crystal type are known as habits. So what kind of habits you get into? So crystals have habits as well. We are crystals, right? The natural progression of a cube when impurities come into it. So that's like us growing up. What is our progression? And what are the natural habits that we get into? What are the no matter, there's a law of constant angles. So even if a crystal is distorted or broken, the angle between corresponding faces, our faces that we put on for the world, remain the same. So let's see. And then just part of the definition of crystal was highly ordered microscopic structure forming a crystal lattice that extends in all directions. So again, we got that in all directions twice. And then I want you to, for some reason, I wrote down 8 weeks, and that came up right around, the 12/21 date. It's like 12/18 to 12/23/2018 is about 8 weeks from now. But if you take all the digits, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you reflect each one, see what the shapes are when you overlap them exactly and when you sit them side by side or when they're apart or separated. It's kind of interesting the shapes that you get. Because, for example, a 5, if you overlap reflecting 5s, it's a square on top of a circle, right? The expression, have you ever tried to fit a square into a round circle? That's 5, conflict, expansion. Also, as you know, 8 and 1 stay the same. Unless, of course, the 1 has a little fancy doodah on the top, and then it becomes an arrow if you overlap them, directed north. I like this one too. The number 4, if you overlap reflecting 4s, it's the letter H, which is 8. Okay? It's more of the, like I say, 4 is a lower level manifestation of 8. The H, and H is 8. And if you put the H side by side in separation, it becomes a pitchfork, right? And 4 is all about earthly qualities, so that's a lot about the devil. So you got to watch out for that 4, because the 4, when not used properly, goes there. All right, so you might want to play with that a little bit, see what you see. It's very interesting, the different heart shapes that come up, and 7s overlapping as a triangle. And when 7s are separated, they're a T. So anyway, you can look at that. So getting into the Divine Feminine read, it starts with the Knight of Wands in the underlying energy in the Sirian Starseed deck. After clearly sick and tired of insecurities being manipulated with a message of love that are conflicting or causing conflict, As his flame is lit, and it could be a feminine, this Knight of Wands, because it is action, but I usually get masculine energy from it. As his flame is lit, and as he's about to leap into a fresh start. After clearly tired of not having the tools, possibly feeling shy and conflicted or competitive, or after receiving enough information and tired of fighting with a kid who has excuses and who's trying to manipulate him. He's been getting busy to free himself. The Knight of Pentacles makes an offer to family at the full moon, laying his cards or tools of the magician on the table in exchange for his freedom, coming together at work out in the open with the angel and the devil in the mix. The devil waves hello, impatient to split and cut through the BS, or possibly a Capricorn's horns come out when impatient and feeling imprisoned by lies and wanting to escape. A grown child could also make an offer to the family, something practical for more freedom. But there are lies in the mix here. Intentions are good on the outside, especially when you're dealing with kids, be careful. But planning something else on the inside, not good. So somebody's putting on their mask. You know, they may seem like they have good intentions, but they don't. They're thinking about something else. And deception's definitely coming up here as the underlying energy. The Magician, and I'm not just saying that from the card of deception. This is the energy I was getting from the cards that I was reading. The Magician is held prisoner at or of the full moon, longing for passionate movement and freedom. Someone needs a kick in the butt, a jump start to motivate the beast, or Palm Beach I was getting, or like kicking the beast on Palm Sunday, or wild kids who hurt the dog while they're playing around or messing around when they weren't supposed to be, or riding or kicking the dog and hurting the dog, or just someone getting kicked when they're already down. And when I wrote down, I wrote done. So somebody getting kicked when they're already done, that could be a message specific, okay? So, or a lazy boar gets kicked aside. As Tinkerbell, and I got Tinkerball, so I don't know if someone has a Tinkerball, but as Tinkerbell or Tinkerball watches what's going on here, whether it's kids playing or whatever the situation is, watches with fruit and sweets, not doing a thing to stop it, in another world, high as a kite or light as a feather, while at work, big love is happening after bending the truth with a little innocent footsie at work, hitting below the belt, actually at the right knee, while inspection is behind. You can take that the way you receive it, expressing feelings of passion and arrows of love with a flame stuck smack in the middle of a DNA strand and family lineage. The right leg is attached to a family tree about to be torched due to negligence. Someone is being distracted with possible gluttony and passion, so a boar can be kicked out of the way while the innocent are shocked. So someone who's considered boring may be kicked out of the way, and someone who's witnessed to this is really shocked because they're a really nice person. I was getting a karmic could be having an affair in the kitchen while the partner's at work. It could be a Leo, but doesn't have to be. Also, an innocent bystander who may be as a witness to this is shocked. Also possibly getting a Leo and a Libra, mixing it up in the kitchen between work stalking and passion with food to spice up their sex life. Also, I'm getting underlying energy of forgiveness, and that was major. The whole read is about forgiveness. After detox and awakening to a true love, left behind, the wise old owl funneled funds like a squirrel collecting nuts for the winter, and hiding money in trees, possibly literally, saving, or just making a crystal tree, or making a getaway to the Holy Grail, but blocked by poverty or being left out or being left behind. The Queen of Wands started saving or packing away funds. The Queen of Wands holds the Knight of Wands prisoner with devilish lies, impatience, and temptation. Recently, the Emperor was depressed and in another world, but satisfied being alone, with negative inner child crying, or another child crying, or stalking a woman who's suffering, or stuck with a mouthy crying child. So it could be a child who's whining and crying, or a child who's just mouthing off. A prisoner of fire and lies. The Queen of Wands is aware of the Emperor's big love and using sex to hold him captive, or maybe just her sexual prowess, okay? So passion and lies all come out at the full moon. The foundation has to do with the King of Cups, destiny of the Emperor, who's stubborn and uninspired, or possibly having little tantrums, or he is dealing with lazy and out of control, possibly uninspired children. Beware of the masks. Centrally, the King of Cups rests, thinks, meditates, or possibly just stays quiet, after present and strong to a higher love and calling, or present to a Leo new love, calling, or present about a Leo's new love calling, or with a Leo who is self-absorbed and judgmental, and possibly lying at work. The King of Cups is quiet, balancing thoughts while floating on air, trying to cut cords with a Queen of Swords to avoid third-party painful nightmare. The Divine Feminine is challenged by the King of Cups, who's reversed here, so it could be emotionally detached, manipulative, implementing heartbreak and or separation regarding a betrayal of a wounded warrior who's now on guard and coming together at work in order to co-create while still with thoughts of obsession, trying to avoid heartbreak and thoughts of the Divine Masculine as a womanizer, or just thinking of him chasing someone else intimately. So the Divine Feminine, this is something that is coming up for the Divine Feminine to clear, because we're in this Scorpio energy. It's going to be a lot about sexual wounds. There's going to be a lot of those jealous feelings come up for the Divine Feminine to clear. Now in the head and heart, balancing the masculine and feminine thoughts, and being present, standing their ground, fending off overindulgences and lack of opportunities or invitations due to a negative past or a negative childhood or just a negative situation with their twin. The Queen of Pentacles heals and forgives the Queen of Wands. The King of Pentacles romantic tie, who looks and acts perfect, as the Queen of Cups gets a butt whipping by the harsh truth in front of kids and possible onlookers as well regarding romance. Soon at work, holding on loosely and grounding in order to release connections to negative words and holding back messages of lack, patience and synchronicities, and options in taming the beast. The Divine Feminine is balancing her and her energy exchanges after the Queen of Cups takes a leap of faith in not expressing feelings quickly or freely when feeling creatively blocked. So the Divine Feminine may be realizing she needs to, and it could be a karmic too, just realizing that she needs to stop and not react as soon as she gets information, or even just with downloads. So sometimes you need to sit on it before releasing information to make sure it's not coming across because you're creatively blocked, or maybe you don't want to deliver that information when you're creatively blocked because you may taint that information because of your own feelings at the time. The cards that came up for the Divine Feminine were career, finances and career. Finances may be affecting your romantic life. Also keep an open mind, so someone may differ than your expectations. And around the Divine Feminine, or how she is seen, is alone and cold after possible financial loss, or possibly just dealing with a dysfunctional family burdened by death and or an end of a marriage, tradition, establishment, societal norm, religions, or religious leaders. Okay, so some kind of ending. That has affected the Divine Feminine. The King of Wands is in the what the Divine Feminine needs to clear. And this is the Man of Passion. So it's, again, this came up before for the Divine Feminine this week, that she needs to clear her blocks about the Man of Passion, that he's not trustworthy. The Divine Feminine needs to clear these blocks of injustices, getting over loss at the full moon, or that the King of Wands is unfair, or possibly over sadness and loss, and all of this comes to light. That the King of Wands could also be a shaman, okay? And a lot of them will be. that he is, or he doesn't have to be. I mean, your expectations may be that he will be and he may not be. That he is unjust, or that he is not divorced, or that he does not feel sadness at the full moon. That he is married or committed to the old ways, blocked and standing firm. So you need, the Divine Feminine needs to let go of the blocks of this stuff and don't assume anything, right? Because you make up all these stories in your head. So the card that comes out for the Divine Feminine has to do with nature, so it's let everything happen naturally, and also to spend a lot of time in nature, especially with this full moon energy. Ground, 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 nature, nature, nature. Offer was rejected for the Divine Feminine. An offer may have been rejected. Yes, this is the truth, because possibly he was in another relationship or married and looking forward to a happy family life and being strong, or maybe possibly with a Leo. Karma, or the lotus, peeled back, reveals romantic, possibly harsh announcement of the Queen of Cups comforting an angel Sagittarius, or just an angel, or just being patient. Queen of Cups comforting and being patient, with dreams of a strong family waiting for their ship to come in at the finish line. Okay, so this is Queen of Cups, whether it's the Divine Feminine or the karmic energy, or it could be a karmic in the Divine Feminine's life. Okay, so you place it where it goes. But Queen of Cups is a very nurturing, loving person. She was upright. Also could be, so Karma is the Judgment card, was the outcome card, or the yeah, it's called Karma. It has a lotus flower on it. But the lotus peeled back reveals romantic, harsh announcement of the Queen of Cups comforting and being patient, or comforting an angel, with dreams of strong, or possibly a Leo family waiting for the ship to come in at the finish line. So someone trying to get to a finish line. Self-judgment comes up here also for the Divine Feminine, with the right knee block after attention for having offered love. Also, negative past that comes up for any cheating, lying, and stealing, or just taking risks, is announced and needing to see from another perspective. And again, this right knee block comes up, so it's that masculine block. It's anger. The Empress starts over in love, ending pain and negative self-talk. The High Priestess is surrounded by 3D reality and stuck emotions, and wakes up to see things differently again. Also, the Knight of Wands as the Emperor is getting busy, as the Knight of Cups shares loneliness of the Emperor staying quiet at work, working alone. A King of Wands shaman is in their knowing. They know about lotus and about right knee blocks. Okay, so it's a masculine waking up to the journey. So then for the Divine Masculine today, alright, so Divine Masculine today, the major arcana were Lovers, Guidance, Solar Deity, which is the Sun, Guidance is the Hierophant, Ascension, which is the World, Luna, which is the Moon, and then Starseed, which is the Fool. So a lot of major arcana for the Divine Masculine today. There were 3 Pentacles and 2 Wands. No Cups or Swords at all. Okay, so very much about work and being busy. The two court cards that came up are the Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands was in both reads, as well as the 5 of Pentacles was in both reads. The numbers that came up for the Divine Masculine were 2, 32, and really that was it for the Divine Masculine. Not much in numbers have been coming up this week recently at all. The coding was all to do with guidance. Maybe the Divine Masculine seeing the Divine Feminine, her guidance, and that maybe he wants to talk to her about guidance, or maybe he sees someone who might benefit from her help as a healer, or just as someone as a coach or a twin flame coach, whatever it may be. but guidance is the main thing that's coming up for the Divine Masculine. Some of the coding that came up online was a condition caused by over 3 decades at the sharp end of business. Okay. And then another entry came up, hello world, welcome to Azure Cat, C-A-T, guidance. Also another entry was intro to guidance and counseling. And that was literally about ADE events for guidance. And then guidance on establishment of acceptable daily exposure, so solvent impurities. How much is okay to be exposed to every day? Between getting over pain cycles or purging, news and kid messages, and the Queen of Swords talking, the lovers get ready to pass on a few downloads, possibly 2, after sitting on them a bit. Lovers are getting ready to take a risk, a calculated risk, an offer of money or possible new life to the Queen of Wands for a marriage or contract payoff is now out in the open. As at work creating, whittling, the King of Cups looks in on an angel, being patient and methodical with lover. One step at a time to soulmate. The Queen of Wands quit work, is not getting along at work, or broke up with third party through work, or a partner because of a third party, after kids became messengers of truth and inspiration, or after an announcement of truth and excitement. The Queen of Wands is angry at an angel lover. She's tired of being patient with lover, or she's tired of an impatient lover. Soulmate is the underlying energy for the Divine Masculine. Discussions at the full moon, out in the open, about an old marriage, probing, exposure of drinking, possible potion making, and or a white kiss as a hook. And I was getting like a kissing potion. Or an old man with a tiered hat or a cake hat. Or maybe the birthday boy, an old man who's the birthday boy, with an antenna and a bird or swan picture, exposes full moon potion making and how to do it to a Sag female. So I was getting like a father or a grandfather even, like showing a daughter or a granddaughter how to make a potion. Also parenting came up for the Divine Masculine as important. Also seeing like the father showing a daughter a science experiment to use for school. So this could be with crystals as well. So the King of Pentacles reversed has been looking over his left shoulder. The King of Pentacles reversed, okay? So he's either ungrounded or it could be all about money. Has been looking over his left shoulder as the Emperor, out of control and emotionally immature, rejected, extremely shy, or in dealing with over-emotional child, becomes the militant truth teller, the enemy, due to his own brain wars. So this is a masculine in their head, now giving up the battle, just exhausted. The Queen of Wands gives up the battle with angel lovers. So this could be a karmic who's already aware of the twins, or twins who are already together. The karmic gives up the battle. Recently, there's a detox of the Queen of Pentacles reversed, Empress, so they could be 2 separate people or the same person, and an Empress who's a Queen of Pentacles reversed, who's either ungrounded, lost money, or is, greedy about money or overspending. Detoxing spending, so somebody could be detoxing that addiction in order to gain control over their world. Lovers complete a cycle and end a battle, or someone's pissed that they're not going on vacation and traveling like they thought they were going to. The foundation is avoiding disaster with a Leo possibly exposed, or a clingy Leo exposed, or being strong in the aftermath of exposure of angel lover soulmate. Centrally, giving it up to the full moon after exposed, telling the truth, defenseless, or not caring what anyone thinks anymore, about third party, Queen of Cups to karmic, and that he still has a torch for her. So saying centrally, giving it up at the full moon, after exposed, telling the truth, and being defensive or not caring what anyone thinks. So giving it up to some karmic about third-party Queen of Cups to the karmic, and that he still has a torch for his flame. Challenged by divorce, savings, being comforted by the Queen of Cups, and comforted by the Queen of Cups, who may be looking at other women in amazement. Destiny of sovereignty and spiritual awakening. So it's just was this feeling of like one woman looking at another woman like either she's crazy or in admiration. Okay? So him needing guidance. Now in the head and heart of the Divine Masculine, at the full moon, and that actually came up in the present moment, the Divine Masculine was the full moon, in pain of a soul connection, without attention, feeling impatient and depressed, and feeling in another world and out of control, feeling like a failure and giving up the battle. Juggling is exposed at the full moon, the karmic stalking and smothering and jealous of independent women, or she is independently wealthy and ego-driven. At the full moon, a split or divide, or a parting of the ways, focused on surprising a high priestess with keys, of shocking secret journal, or letter of awakening. Or it could just be a surprise secret that somebody, is desperate to express to their Divine Feminine, or may have written something for their Divine Feminine as well. Soon, the Queen of Pentacles, wounded by the justice system, after taken down by the King of Swords reversed, jealous, insincere, not loving, and feeling like a failure in need of attention. The King of Swords reversed, not the Queen of Pentacles. Or it could be either one. But the Queen of Pentacles was feeling wounded by the justice system, feeling like she had been taken down by the King of Swords reversed, who can be really nasty, with their words, that's for sure. Or they're just not talking to them. Or they're just out of sorts. Could be a lawyer of some sorts as well. But I was getting the description of the Queen of Pentacles or this King of Swords reversed. Probably this King of Swords reversed was jealousy, insincerity, not showing love, but also this person feeling like a failure and needing attention. So again, insecurities always come up with any kind of wounds, right? So he's climbing out of the dark with a flame toward the light. After starting over, fighting his way back from financial loss, or fighting with dysfunctional family, has his eye on the prize, seeing synchronicities, and moving and or feeling unstable. The cards that came up from Romance Angels were playfulness, express your love, retreat, and then an unrequited love. Around him, a bomb drops after a message of love from a wounded warrior confessing or dropping their burdens in order to take a leap of faith. Only a female Sag, or Sagittarius, is plotting or drinking, stands between the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. Clear blocks for the Divine Masculine of being the Knight of Wands lover, exposed as a simple, loving man. So he's afraid, like, if he doesn't come off as the hot guy, right, then no one will love him. Like, who wants the simple, boring, loving man? Which, of course, we do. Okay, so the Divine Masculine needs to clear blocks of the Knight of Wands lover, or maybe thinking that his Divine Feminine is that way. Either way, it's the block for the Divine Masculine. The Knight of Wands. Passionate movement, rushing in to a sexual relationship. Clear the blocks of the Knight of Wands versus the King of Cups. And also feeling sadness and loss about a home and family. The advice for the Divine Masculine is effort and love partnership from the numerology deck. And the energy was coming up as him missing his fantasy lover, wanting a date and justice to settle up his devilish ways, a destiny in union, now alone in a cold place, walking away to go within and rest, has an idea for a date to fix things up and make repairs to his sex life, to heal dreams and shine his light with possible karaoke or naming a star, or a recording star, or going to Egypt to hear what the constellations have to say. Releasing anxiety in stubborn ways without option, sneakiness and vacillating and feeling overwhelmed or dumped, releasing all these things. The magician and lover express feelings of love and passion to each other. Angel lovers are exposed in a confession and leap of faith to end juggling and repeating patterns in marriage. The Queen of Pentacles and Knight of Wands at the full moon make an effort to heal and to dream, letting each other back in. Lovers complete world and or travel to end war. Performing night and day, so this could be the song Night and Day, so someone might perform that song for someone, or just summarizing that the Divine Masculine feels like they have to perform night and day. Exposing patterns in marriage or contracts, the burdens of the Queen of Pentacles being alone, and wanting a fresh start as the Knight of Wands to light the flame, to recovery and shine. Okay? So that was the read for the masculine and feminine, and I'm going to pull you some oracle cards as well. Okay, we have the Ascension deck. Take a deep breath, everyone. And make an extra effort with the full moon energy, not just tonight, but for the next few nights. Make an extra effort to stay present so you don't float into, old thoughts and old patterns. Okay. So for the Ascension deck, all right, what is the advice for everyone watching today? What is the advice? Okay, we have the moon, Hilarion, and the bottom is the Sphinx, which is number 20. It's just 41, 44. The Sphinx is number 20. The affirmation is, I connect to the God force within the Sphinx. Okay, and again, in Egypt just came up, so if any of you are planning to go, that's the underlying energy. And perfect that the moon came up for today, the full moon, it's number 11. The moon is the causal chakra of the universe and radiates divine feminine energies. Call in to cleanse your aura and energize you. Remember, the influence of the celestial body is always there, whether you can see it or not. When you're offered this card, you're called on to practice your feminine qualities of love, wisdom, compassion, intuition, inclusiveness, discernment, and oneness. Your guidance is to go within and seek answers from your huge font of wisdom. The moon will bring you clarity so that you can flow with the current of ascension. Affirmation is, I listen to my divine feminine wisdom. And don't forget, full moon's big for releasing stuff. So if you need to release, if you need to cry or whatever it is, let it all out. But keep your energy high as well. And remember, just even over the next month, since we're in Scorpio, there's going to be a lot of dark energy coming up, and it's going to be very sexual. And you're going to have to make choices on whether, you want a quick fix or do you want something that's going to last. And are you assuming that you know something about somebody else that isn't true? Okay? So, a lot of that energy is coming up. And remember to just only do what feels good to you and what's for your highest good. The other card that came out was Hilarion, which is 46. So again, I said 11 was justice. This is 46, which is the 6 of Cups. 46 is a 1. It's the masculine energy, but it's the 6 on the inside, which is love, family, and community. It's a very motherly energy. And then the 4 of stability and responsibility on the outside, Hilarion. Hilarion is from Saturn and steps down his energy through the Temple of Truth over Crete. He is negotiator for Earth on the Council of Saturn and helps us remain connected to our spiritual journey. As master of the orange 5th ray of technology, science, truth, and knowledge, he invites you to open your mind so that he can drop seeds for new ideas into your consciousness. He assists those who are ready to become higher channels and clairvoyance. Your guidance is to sit quietly and ask him to help you be all that you can be. The affirmation is, I open myself to the wisdom and guidance of Hilarion. Okay? So some of you who want to connect more fully may want to connect with Hilarion. And again, he's 5th ray of orange, technology, science, truth, knowledge. It's just reminding you to stay connected to your journey. Alright, so now we have the past life deck. Okay, and take another deep breath. Okay. What is the advice for us today? What is the advice? Okay. We have Mother, and the bottom of the deck is Vows. Okay, we have two girls here in this picture, which came up in my sand art, the two girls in their room hanging out. But this is also about vows, to make sure you've cut all connections and vows from this life and past lives. Use your intention to cut connections and promises that you've made in the past across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities. The card that came up, this is the vows was the underlying energy. The card that came up is just Mother, which has come up several times this week. It's just that mothering energy, mothering yourself, mothering your inner child, possibly reading to children. And also deciding going forward, what is it that what's going to make you happy going forward? Do you want that old-fashioned life of being the mother who stays home, or do you want to be, or is there something else that you wanted different than that? Is this something you've been doing and it's not something you want to do anymore? And it might have to do with children, if you want more children. There's a boy and a girl in this picture, so if you don't have one sex, then you might still want another child, or you just want another child just because. That's something you might want to get clear on. But it's about the mother energy coming up for everyone. So mothering others. You maybe become more self-aware of whether you're mothering someone who doesn't want to be mothered, or being in a dark mother kind of way. It's really controlling as opposed to being loving, okay? The journey of love. And really in Scorpio, you want to be careful of that dark mothering, okay? It's not loving to be controlling or smothering, you know. Getting in someone's face and with a smile and telling them how much you know they're supposed to be doing something isn't always the right way to approach something. And also to honor other people's space, you know. Don't give your opinion unless you've asked first, if somebody wants your opinion. Even if you think you're being helpful to them, maybe if they're sad and you want to comfort them, maybe what you're doing is not comforting to them at all. So make sure you ask before you give someone your opinion or your help. So for Journey of Love, what is the advice? Take another deep breath, guys. Okay, the bottom of the deck is 54, Earth Angel. Okay, that's the underlying energy. It's very beautiful. It's 54 is the Page of Swords. It's beautiful, rainbowy colors though. There's no purple or red in it, but everything else in between. The card that came out is Angel of Jupiter Awakening. Angel of Jupiter Awaken, and it's number 6, which is love, the lovers. Okay, and again, it looks very much like a snail. And it's all greens and oranges and yellows. I'm going to read that for you. I don't remember reading this one in a while, that's for sure. Alright, Angel of Jupiter Awaken. Alright, beloved, within you there is magnificence, greatness, and the ability to live bolder, larger, and more exuberantly than you may have ever imagined. Awaken that keen spirit, hungry for adventure and new experience. The Angel of Jupiter, the spirit of bold expansion and divine generosity, lives within you. Your spirit cannot be made small, but must be free. Start now. Feel the endlessness of your own heart. What can be done today to live bigger? A smile? A yes, that offer of adventure? Sharing vulnerability without fear? Taking a step forward into the unknown? Daring to imagine that the divine doesn't just happen to you, but happens through you, as you? Embrace the courage of your own open heart and dare to dream, beloved. The bold divine nature within you is calling you to great things. Now is your time to awaken. This oracle holds a message of guidance for you. You've been given an opportunity that can change your life. Don't hesitate to accept it. If you're acting with more assertiveness, more generosity, more playfulness, and more spiritual authority than usual, this is confirmation that this is coming from a genuine place within you. If you're experiencing some havoc in your life, or a sense that things are changing, this oracle comes as an affirmation. Yes, there is change. And yes, you're outgrowing what once was. And Spirit's connecting. So you will be prepared to receive that which is more suited for your next stage of growth. And the poem reads, "Awaken your arms. I wait to stop time, savoring each moment for an eternity. Like an angel, you light the room, your love giving life to the love I've held within. Unbridled and free, our dream unfolds, and we are forever changed." That's really beautiful. So just allow it all and know your power. Do what feels good to you. Okay? So take it easy in these full moon energies. Okay? Be discerning. Take your time in making decisions. Don't jump into anything. And make sure it feels good to you. Body and heart, not mind. Okay? Drink your water, get some rest, and ground. Ground, ground, ground. Get out in nature and meditate. Rise and be love. Bye, guys. Have a great one.